Are we live? Good morning, Bear Nation. Oh no, Rooftop Koreans, we're all doomed. The Yakking Vet, 5x5. Michael Roby, thank you. Tim Hansen, Glock 316. Good morning, everybody in the chat and everybody who's watching this on the replay. Paratrooper turned militant homesteader. Good morning. All right, we're going to talk about the resurging need for everybody's favorite hero, the Rooftop Korean. We're going to talk a little bit about the potentially expanding conflict in Ukraine. We're going to talk about poquito about the not what am I looking for here? Coffee is what I'm looking for. The no longer lingering government shutdown, and we're going to talk about Bobby Kennedy. What's up, Patriot Plumber? Shalom, brother. And to everybody who is celebrating the Festival of Tabernacles, Chag Sameach, as they oblong in the Hebrew. Sun Tzu Lao, wow, I made one. You guys know the drill. If you're new here, subscribe, ring the little bell icon, do all the YouTube stuff. If you're one of the 40% of people that watches this show but isn't subscribed, what the hell's wrong with you, man? Commit or don't. But, you know, don't watch unsubscribed. Subscribe or go. How's that? How's that for an ultimatum? Subscribe or go. And for everybody who is a veteran of the Bear Nation, you know what to do. Share the show with somebody you love. Leave a thumbs up. Comment for the algo. The show is brought to you by the awesome people over at Patreon, as well as RefugeMedical.com. I'm the chief shill because I'm the founder and CEO of RefugeMedical.com. It's a really shitty product. We've only saved 92 lives to date that we know of. We only make everything here. We only guarantee it unconditionally forever. So, you know the drill. Bear Independent Brief, 2 October 23. In the latest incident of hooliganism, groups of masked and hooded teens have swarmed a city center in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, looting and vandalizing businesses flash mob style. But how were their dance moves? That's what I want to know. Police managed to contain the situation by midnight, arresting about 20 young people. Some say this was related to a judge's decision to dismiss charges pressed against a police officer who killed a man during a traffic stop, but authorities do not believe the incidents are actually related. No, because one is an unfortunate circumstance and the other is coordinated, planned, funded chaos, which I would submit we will be seeing more of in between now and November of 2024, the presidential elections, because what do? They turn up the knob, the shenanigan knob, prior to every presidential election so they can get people up in a tizzy so that they will vote emotionally rather than intellectually, as if those votes even mattered. Ha, ha, ha. This Philadelphia thing isn't an isolated issue either. In fact, the same day that this occurred, Target, the national retailer, slightly bougie national retailer of all the stuff that your wife thinks that she needs but doesn't actually need, announced 9 stores are closing across 4 different states, specifically citing theft and organized crime that has threatened the safety of its workers, customers, and presumably its bottom line. Hydrate. That is cold. You know, what's better than being cool? Ice cold. All right. Now, hey, ladies. Yeah. Lend me some sugar. I am your neighbor. In a statement, Target said, quote, "We cannot continue operating these stores because theft and organized retail crime are threatening the safety of our team and guests and contributing to unsustainable business performance. We know that our stores serve an important role in their communities, but we can only be successful if the working and shopping environment is safe for all." End quote. Heather, nailed it. You know it, girl. Quote, end quote. This comes after additional security measures and anti-theft tools were put in place. But what were those additional security measures? Because I'm betting you if the answer was Rooftop Koreans, if you put Rooftop Koreans on the top of every Target in the country, you'd have, there you go, Dudley, like a Polaroid picture. You'd have far less crime, If people, as they were running from the store with their big screen TVs, received incoming fire from 762 by 39, you know, you might be less prone to have, what do they call it? Loss and shrinkage in the retail environment. With increasing borrowing costs and inflation in the United States, shoplifting isn't exactly a surprising phenomenon, but it's clearly becoming untenable for businesses. Overall, Target alone said it is anticipating a $500 million loss due to theft. Or, now hear me out, or Rooftop Koreans. The retail industry trade, and why am I telling you this? Why should you care? Like what? Who cares? People are stealing from Target. Oh no, 20 more people were arrested in Philly. Why should I care? It's a civil unrest indicator, and civil unrest is typically tied to one, maybe two things. Tyranny, although not lately here in the United States, because all of the men have been chemically castrated by big pharma and by the Food and Drug Administration, but also economic indicator. It's an economic indicator, and economic stress can lead to economic collapse. Biffer87 said, Shalom, got my Bear Factory and my bucket. I also got the online S March E. I'm a whiskey guy, so here's a little whiskey money. Thank you, Biffer87. You rock. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Also, thanks for the super chat, $10. So why should you care? Economic indicator. It's canary in the coal mine. Adventures of Pagan Z. Bring my bucket. It's coming, brah. Medic Mouse, I have a friend high up in Walmart's loss prevention. I'll dig into what he has to say. Well, do that, bro. That'd be great. But also remember during the pandemic that Walmart leaked or intentionally leaked a scheme of maneuver, if you will, to allow all Walmarts across the nation and potentially the globe to go straight to pickup only. That the inside of the store would no longer allow retail shoppers to stroll around. That's why you saw in a lot of Walmarts the integration of essentially the cattle gates to maneuver people through. And many Walmarts were closed for, retail shopping. It was pickup only. And Walmart had a corporate level down plan to do that, and in all stores in the United States, to which Militant replies, grow food, 100%, as the kids say. Retail Industry Trade Group, the National Retail Federation, that sounds like a faction from Star Trek, has said, and I'm not a Trekkie. No, don't get the wrong idea. I just know that there was some like robot dude with pointy ears, and then that Captain Kirk guy. Anyway, Captain Kirk said that retailers are noticing the dangerous, violent nature of the increasing store crimes and are often choosing to close stores in, quote, vulnerable locations. These closures will exacerbate existing issues, taking much needed work from those communities. The Strategic Resource Group's managing director, Bert Flickinger, said, quote, Target, Kroger, and Costco are the best in the country when it comes to investments in store security. So when Target calls out crime and says it's closing stores because of it, it's a blow to the community, end quote. It's not just the economic situation in the country that is creating these issues, though. Police have noted that new criminal justice reform laws aimed at reducing mass incarceration have been seriously detrimental to the peace. In some areas, judges cannot jail for someone for grand theft, regardless of the number of times that they've been arrested for that crime. Arthur Wabino, what's up, bro? Farm life is awesome. Yeah, we've had very little loss and shrinkage on the farm. What's up, tribesman? Shalom, bro. The farm, we're not having these issues. The flash mob has not showed up on the farm so they could shoplift chickens. Because most people don't know what to do with like an actual chicken. If it's not, been gutted and skinned and, chopped up into little pieces and then put on a diaper on a piece of styrofoam and then shrink wrapped with a, laser printer label on it. Most people don't know what to do with a chicken. So we haven't had that issue here, let alone sheep or cattle. And then we have our own special version of Rooftop Koreans. So, what's up, Brother Gas? Let's see. Smaller businesses are cracking under the pressure. In Oakland, California, 200 business owners closed their stores and held a demonstration for several hours on Tuesday morning. According to one community leader quoted by CNN, the Communist News Network, many of these smaller businesses are being victimized on a daily basis. Rooftop Koreans. Greg McConnell, the owner of a local consulting firm, said of the local mainstay that had finally buckled under the pressure, quote, "This restaurant survived the crack epidemic. This restaurant survived Occupy Oakland and the riots. This restaurant survived the pandemic, but this restaurant can't survive crime. We've got to put an end to this now," end quote. Rooftop Koreans. The best suppressive fire is accurate aimed fire. Just saying. Just saying. A couple of articles I want to look at today. What do we got? 1,000, almost 1,100 people in the chat. Man, it's Monday, right? It's Monday. Monday. Ooh, that's what we could do. We could arrest all those people. Yeah, you're violating due process. I don't know if you're caught red-handed running out of a store with a big screen TV or something. We round them all up, we put them in the paddy wagons, and we bring them to the monster truck arena. And we put like 2 or 3 monster trucks in there, and then we just fill the rest of the dirtscape with people who have been shoplifting. And then 3, 2, 1, go. And if you don't get smashed by the monster truck, you're released back into society. And we do this once a week. Everybody pays their price. You know, they pay for a ticket. And we take the funds from those tickets to pay for the event and then also to support the mom and pop businesses that have been transgressed against by this shoplifting. And then we put it on pay-per-view as well. And we have like a monster truck smashes shoplifter thing every Saturday night after sundown. And it'll be a blast, right? It'll be a blast. I think it's Nostradamus says he'd buy that ticket, right? I'd be in, right? I think that'd be awesome. Akiata Skirata, Bear live. Yes, I am live. 6'5" Grundle with the stop sign. It's a thing. Room with a drain. Yeah, we might need a drain. You're right, Hannah. You are right. A couple other things I want to look at today. We got 2 articles from RT Russia today. Yes, I know it's Russian propaganda. It's all propaganda, man. It's all, because Fox News is, free and fair, reliable reporting. Copy. We report the news. You decide. Let's see. The buckets for Bob's giveaway from Refuge Medical, now over $4,000 worth of gear, is going through the end of Sukkot. So 7 October 23, I believe. And every bucket you buy, whether that's a birthing bucket, a postpartum bucket, a wound care bucket, or a surgical bucket, gets you, every bucket is a chance to win over $4,000 worth of gear, including a bug out bag filled with stuff from the Refuge Medical guys. You got a Refuge Medical kit in there, a mirror safety gas mask, a custom knife, a whole bunch of awesome stuff. By the way, Refuge has a YouTube channel, so go subscribe to them. They're talking a lot about that over there. So you get the bug out bag, you get a Redemption tactical plate carrier and level 4 plates. You get a jelly bean launcher, dude. Yeah, 5.56 jelly bean launcher that is will be shipped to your local jelly bean affiliate. Yep, you get one of those. You get a Mantis laser dry fire practice kit, a whole bunch of other stuff. So check it out. RefugeMedical.com. Any bucket get you entered for a chance to win. Used to be called shrinkage. Now they call it reparations. Oof. Yeah, Rooftop Koreans. Let's see. Russia Today, RT. Why does this matter? Well, it talks a little bit about the no longer an issue, at least for the next 45 days, government shutdown. And I'm of the school of thought is like, let it shut down. I don't approve of this government anyway. Oh, no, it's shut down? Cool. Freedom. Go watch Braveheart. Grow a pair of balls. But this article talks about Ukraine, and there's some interesting things happening in Ukraine. The scuttlebutt is that the UK, the United Kingdom, will be moving actual troops into Western Ukraine for training and advisory roles. Now, the United States, don't tell anybody, it's a secret. The United States has people from our State Department there, Civil Affairs there, CIA is there, Special Forces is there, and has been for at least a decade. So don't let anybody know. In Ukraine proper, but now the UK is moving their training cadre, their soldiers, their equipment, their log train into Western Ukraine. And of course, Medvedev, I believe that's his name, the Russian Minister of Defense, has said those are legitimate military targets and we will hit them. Kerry Stennett, thanks for the $5. Shut it down and start over. Thanks for everything, Bear. You're welcome, Kerry. Thanks for being here for such a long time. Kerry's been here for a hot minute. Appreciate you. Why does that matter? Because now you're going to have uniformed soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, DOD personnel, UK DOD personnel, whatever, Ministry of Defense. Sorry, I've had 0 cups of coffee this morning. You're going to have United Kingdom soldiers in Ukraine that Russia is saying they're actually going to target because those are legitimate military targets, which they are. It's one thing, clearly, if Ukrainians get killed in Ukraine, Americans don't seem to care. The rest of the world doesn't seem to care. But if the British start getting killed in Ukraine, an attack on one is an attack on all, Article 5. So there's a strong possibility of escalation due to this, if you ask me. Not only that, they're also saying that they may take Her Majesty's fleet and move them into the Black Sea. Find Crimea on a map, look to the south. That bowl of water there? Yeah, there. They might move Her Majesty's ships into the AO in order to protect, air quote, protect Ukrainian shipments coming and going. Now, I agree with Fluster Cluck Farms. We have no business in Ukraine. We have no business. The Democrats do. Biden does. Burisma Holdings, anybody? And it feels like they need their Black Swan event. They need their Gulf of Tonkin incident, the sinking of the Lusitania, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. They need planes flying into buildings. They need the fleet sunk at harbor in Pearl Harbor. They need the outrage so that people will say, yeah, that's it. Go over there and start a war in Ukraine. Also, by the way, did you guys hear that the missile, allegedly Russian missile that hit a grain silo in Poland that Zelensky was screaming about? See, the implications of the Ukrainian war extend beyond Ukraine's borders. Article 5, an attack on one is an attack on all. It wasn't a Russian missile. It was a Ukrainian missile. Oops. False flag. The Country Humans Network. Precisely. Am I saying that's going to happen? No. Am I saying I'm keeping an eye on it? You bet your tuchus I am. I don't like it. Not even a little bit. I haven't liked this thing since Jump, but I definitely don't like this development. So, something to keep your eyes on. To this article from Russia Today, Ukraine excluded from emergency U.S. government funding deal. Wah. The Congress has reached a compromise plan averting a shutdown. The U.S. House of Representatives and the Senate both approved a stopgap spending bill on Saturday. Yeah, it's another reason I don't approve of these assholes. The resolution keeps the government open for the next 45 days. Boo! At the current spending level. Boo! And adds billions of dollars in funding for U.S. disaster relief. I guess I could get down with that. But if we could also shut down that base at the South Pole and HARP and quit flying planes with laser beams in their nose over the top of prime real estate, we probably wouldn't need as much money for disaster relief. However, the new spending bill excludes aid to Ukraine despite President Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. asterisk's request. The so-called continuing resolution was passed in a 335 to 91 vote in the House and sent to the Senate just a few hours before the shutdown deadline, as if that shit wasn't going to happen in the first place. Everybody get all up in arms about the government shutdown, which has happened dozens of times since I've been alive. Brother Rex, Taborosaurus Rex channel, has a wonderful rant on this, phenomenal rant on this. You should go watch it. Yeah. Oh no, they're going to shut the government down. Cool. I do not approve anyway. Continuing. The House then adjourned until Monday, meaning the lawmakers did not plan to propose an alternative if the Senate had failed to approve the legislation. The Senate approved the bill in an 88-9 vote and passed it to President Biden, who had decided to stay in Washington over the weekend on standby to sign it. Oh, he decided to do his job? Oh, wow, impressive. The new plan, branded a, quote, clean bill by the Republicans, won the support from more House Democrats than Republicans, with just one Democrat voting against the short-term funding measure. It ensures that federal operations will be at current spending levels, but includes none of the $24 additional billion for Ukraine that Biden had said was necessary. Oh, boys and gerbils, the government doesn't make anything. They don't produce anything. Every dollar they give to somebody else came out of somebody's pocket. And as a small business owner, what I just paid in taxes. Good morning, Texas T. Shalom, brother. Happy Sukkot to you as well. Chag Sameach. What I just paid in business taxes could have bought my wife the house that she wants instead. And I'm not rich. If I hear one more asshole going off about how the rich need to pay their fair share, they're probably going to get stabbed in the jugular with this bubbly blue colored pencil. I can't take it anymore. I do not condone any of this bullshit. And I have done my research. Unfortunately, there's no clause for conscientious objection to paying taxes in the United States of America. Imagine that, because then the tyrants would get far less funding than they currently do. And if every one of you, every 90 days, had to turn around and write a check and send it to the federal government instead of having it automatically deducted from your payroll, we would have already had a revolution in this country. It's absurd. Absurd. I will reiterate again. What I just paid in quarterly taxes as a small business owner could have bought my wife the house that she wants. It's more than what we paid for the land I'm sitting on. Bullshit. Deep breaths, Bear. Back to the article. In a speech on the House floor Saturday, Representative Michael Lawler, Republican of New York, urged his colleagues not to allow the government to shut down simply because the bill excludes aid for Ukraine. Quote, if you're telling the American people with a straight face you will shut down the American government over Ukraine, then shame on you, Lawler said. The bill was introduced by Republicans on Saturday morning after an earlier plan aimed at steep social spending cuts and tougher border security measures was rejected on Friday. Meh. And speaking of politics, Patriot Plumber, I hate quarterlies. Blood boils every time I write the check. Yeah. And here's the thing. If you don't write the check, it's just a matter of time before men with guns come and take you and put you in a box. But you know, freedom, bro. We're super duper free. I'm not going to get into that rabbit hole. I'm not going to ruin my day by getting all pissed off at they, them, whoever, whatever. The Illuminati, the Council on Foreign Relations, blah, blah, blah. It's bullshit. It's straight up bullshit. But my roads, Wyco must be a libertarian. Who will pave the roads? We do. I live in Nowhere, Oklahoma. We pave the roads. In fact, we have a work day this week to pave a road because, yeah. Also from RT, Kennedy plotting third-party presidential bid. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has reportedly decided to compete as an independent, potentially pulling votes away from incumbent Joe Biden. Color me concerned, man. How sad. U.S. presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has reportedly made plans to run as a third-party candidate, potentially shaking up the 2024 race for the White House by sapping Democratic votes away from President Joe Biden and boosting the odds of Republican victory. Now, just so we're all on the same page here, Ryan the Eating Warrior. When I was stationed in Virginia, I got fired up writing that quarterly property tax check that for my car that I bought. I hate that state. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Remember last week we were talking about Biden's polling numbers? They're abysmal. My guess is this. Now, Kennedy has good reasons, at least in his mind, to run as an independent. But the narrative, watch this, the narrative will shift to Robert F. Kennedy running as an independent is sapping votes away from Biden, which is why Biden wasn't reelected or couldn't be reelected. When the fact of the matter is, Biden's approval rating is bullshit. His own 67% of his own party does not want him to run again. Okay. Is this being streamed on Rumble? No. No, it's not. It'll be uploaded to Rumble as a video later today because nobody watches Rumble. Bear, how come you're not on Rumble? I am. All the briefs go up over there. That tells you how effective as a platform Rumble is. Okay? Okay. Patrick Pending, before 1913, you kept all of your earnings. An empire in decline. I agree completely. Now, back to Biden versus Kennedy, which Kennedy's kind of buff for an old dude. Let's just have a battle royale. Winner becomes president. We'll do it like a old WWF cage match style. We just put all the candidates in there and, to the victor, the spoils. Which, by the way, was a pretty good Morbid Angel track back in the day when I listened to that kind of metal. RT.com. Kennedy, who is currently polling as the top challenger to Biden for the Democratic Party's nomination, plans to announce his candidacy as an independent during an October 9 campaign event in Pennsylvania, which was reported on Friday. Kennedy's campaign will run commercials attacking the Democratic National Committee to pave the way for the announcement, a media outlet said. Kennedy has rallied against the DNC for refusing to give him a fair opportunity. Oh, you mean like Hillary and Bernie? You mean like Hillary and anybody else? Now, I'm no fan of any of these people, but the idea that there would be some type of fairness involved in national level politics, including the Democratic National Committee, is make-believe. That's pretendo, man. That negative. Kennedy has railed against the DNC for refusing to give him a fair opportunity to win the party's nomination and has criticized Biden for declining to approve U.S. Secret Service protection for him during the campaign despite numerous death threats. He is the son of 1968 presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy and the nephew of former President John F. Kennedy Jr., both of whom were assassinated. Quote, Bobby feels that the DNC is changing the rules to exclude his candidacy, so an independent run is the only way to go, end quote. Mediaite cited a Kennedy campaign insider as saying. The New York Times reported last week that Kennedy had met with the chairman of the Libertarian Party, suggesting he was considering a run for president without the Democratic nomination. A Rasmussen poll earlier this month showed that 57% of Democrats plan to vote for Biden in the party's primary elections compared to 25% who backed Kennedy. The same survey found that 33% of Democratic voters will likely support Kennedy if he runs as a third-party candidate in November 2024 against Biden and Republican frontrunner Donald Trump. Such an outcome would have cost Biden about 27 million votes in the 2020 election, which could have resulted in a landslide victory for then President Trump. You mean 2,000 mules? You mean mail-in ballots? You mean Dominion voting systems? You mean COVID pandemic restrictions? Is that you mean that there actually was a landslide victory for President Trump? And then everybody who showed up on the 6th of January to protest the lack of acknowledgement of said landslide victory was then geo-fenced and targeted by multiple alphabet soup agencies that are led by unelected bureaucrats and been weaponized by the executive branch of the United States of America. You mean like that? Because that would never happen in such a free country. You know, it's highly unlikely that anything like that would ever happen. Isn't that right, son? Yep. Super right. A strong third-party contender could have an impact similar to that of Texas billionaire Ross Perot, a fiscal conservative who drew votes away from then-President George Herbert Walker Bush in 1992. Bush supporters have argued that he failed to win re-election because of Perot's candidacy. Perot won 19.7 million votes. I liked Ross Perot. You're going to hear a giant sucking sound. Kennedy, an environmental lawyer who has spoken out against alleged dangers of vaccines, I'm reading the news, YouTube, careful with the community guideline strikes, boasts the name recognition of a family that was long a Democratic Party dynasty. He has said that his top priority as president will be to, quote, end the corrupt merger between state and corporate power, end quote. Kennedy also has argued that Biden's administration missed many opportunities to settle the Russia-Ukraine conflict peacefully, and his strategy of giving billions of dollars worth of weapons to Kyiv has been, quote, terrible for the Ukrainian people, end quote. Like third world, Kim Gordon said. Hey, boy, that milk in the fridge is questionable. I'd give it the sniff test. Okay, cool. I mean, unless you just, feel like shitting your brains out. No? All right. Whatever you're into, son. What's up, MC Youper? That's the show for today. If you're one of those people that jumps off when it's time to discuss the value exchange, beat feet, skedaddle, get out of here. Have a blessed day. Shalom. For everybody else, stick around. We're going to watch the numbers. 1,493 current. Let's watch that number drop. What's up, Hans? Shalom, bro. Links in the description for all this stuff. Patreon.com. It's a preparedness consultancy. You ask the questions, I give you the answers. It's $10 a month. If you can find a better way to spend $10 on the internet, let me know, because it don't exist. Video that went up today was about dealing with addiction. Somebody wrote in and said, hey, I'm having a hard time with this. What do you recommend? And so my wife and I answered that question. When you join Patreon, not only do you get 12, 15, 20, sometimes 40 exclusive pieces of content per month, you also have access to the backlog of 3,000 videos that have never seen the light of day here on YouTube. All the in-depth stuff is on Patreon, so check it out. Next, RefugeMedical.com. Best first aid kits on planet Earth, assembled by professionals, manufactured here in the United States of America, unconditionally guaranteed forever, pressure tested by real-world end users like United States Army Special Forces, Navy SEALs, Air Force Pararescue, Recon Marines, law enforcement, firefighters, EMS personnel all over the country, and fine civilians like you. Only 92 lives saved to date in the last 4 years on 4 continents with all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces electively. In other words, it's pretty good stuff. Bare fact. Right here, bare first aid kit. Cat tourniquet on the outside. Committee on TCCC recommended windlass tourniquet. Legit cat, not a fake Chinese knockoff cat. Set of shears, real shears, not trash shears. Shears that you can use more than once to cut the clothes off of somebody, because I'd rather be alive and humiliated than dead and modest. pull the inner out of the outer. I'm now holding a purpose-built trauma first aid kit in my hand. I got my durability and portability from the ballistic nylon on the outside, which is, of course, Molly and Pal's wedding compatible. Drop that. Pop this open. Ta-da! Trauma medicine first aid kit prioritized per the March algorithm. Massive bleeding, airway, respiratory, circulation, head injury, hypothermia, everything else. Pressure bandage, tourniquet, gloves, Sharpie, medical tape. In the back, shears, nasopharyngeal airway, 2x2 gauze pads. Chest seals, 2 of them, because in hole, out hole, left lung, right lung, 2 chest seals. Burn tech dressing, a real one. Notice none of this stuff is cheap Chinese shit that we branded with our label, like a lot of other people do. No, this is real stuff from real manufacturers that meets or exceeds military specification. Real equipment, not something that was made in Pakistan that we then branded with our logo, unlike some of our air quote competitors. We don't have competitors. We have other people that are trying to keep their head above water in the same space that we're in. There is no better first aid kit. Down below, you got your quick clot for wound packing for arterial bleeds. And then you got your trauma pack. You know, this is all nicely sealed in a high-density polyethylene bag with a zip top. So I gave the people at the store one of these Bearfacts that I had kept outside for a year. I was like, hey, tear into it. Tell me what's wrong with it. You know what was wrong with it? The gloves were a little sticky. After a year of being outside, spring, summer, fall, winter, rain, snow, sleet, hail, sunshine, wind, it was fine. Trauma pack, iPad, eye shield, 2x2, 4x4, 5x9 gauze pads, flat duct tape, rolled gauze, triangle bandage, emergency blanket, compressed gauze for wound packing or dressing lacerations. Made in America, guaranteed forever. If you break it, I'll replace it at no cost to you. If you use the components of this kit to save a life, I will replace them at no cost to you forever. Unconditionally guaranteed forever. Made in the United States of America with pride by real Americans. RefugeMedical.com. And don't forget about the buckets for Bob's giveaway. $4,000+ of stuff. RefugeTraining.com. Don't be an ass. Come to class. Learn the fine art of how to not die. We have classes coming up the end of October 28th and 29th in Spiro, Oklahoma. The evening of the 28th, there will be an all-hands hangout sesh, a refuge block party in the parking lot. So if you're coming to train that Sunday, the 28th, if you can, plan to stay in town after class. If you're training on Monday, the 29th, plan to arrive early so you can be there that Sunday evening for the block party. Got it? Got it. RefugeTraining.com. Learn the fine art of how to not die. Texas T. Warning. When you buy a wound care bucket, do not remove any of the contents from the bucket until you are ready to use it. You won't be able to repack it. Ask me how I know. You know, Texas T, actually, if you run into that issue, you just shoot us an email, admin at Refuge Medical. We have an entire video on how to repack a wound care bucket because so many people ran into that. It's like a game of Tetris, dude. Most people cannot get all the stuff back into the bucket. Yeah, we have bucket experts at Refuge Medical. You guys know the drill, grindstoneministries.com, disaster relief and construction ministry, completely funded by y'all. Grindstone Ministries is building our juvenile human trafficking restoration facility, Caleb House. Excuse me. And we're also entering back into storm season, tornadoes and hurricanes. So we'll see what happens. But we are 100% privately funded by y'all. Never taken a dime from the government. Don't plan on doing it anytime soon. No foundations, no private funds, just y'all. And that's been more than enough. And so bless you and thank you for supporting Grindstone Ministries. Caleb House. Caleb House is our juvenile human trafficking restoration facility where we take kiddos who have been trafficked and serially raped by assholes and put them back together again. While on a different line of effort, making sure that bad shit happens to bad people. Caleb with a K, calebhouse.org if you want to learn more. If the Spirit convicts you to give, bless you. If it does not, don't sweat it. I don't want a dime from anybody that is not convicted by the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, to give to this cause. If you want to learn more, Caleb with a K, calebhouse.org. I love y'all. I got stuff to do today. I hope you're having a happy Monday. If you're celebrating the Feast of Tabernacles, Chag Sameach, have a happy feast. May the Father bless you. May he smile upon you. May he make his face shine upon you and you experience his peace today. I need coffee. Bless y'all. Shalom.